Several people rushed to her, calling her name, trying to rouse her. They lifted her head, and her lips were moving, whispering words in a language that sounded almost familiar, but wasn't quite right. The syllables felt wrong in the air, made ears ring and stomachs turn. A low rumble echoed from somewhere deep underground, felt more than heard. The ground trembled slightly, just enough to make people look down in alarm. Then old Abby's voice cut through the fear and confusion like a blade. "Close your doors!" she shouted, her blind eyes somehow finding each person in turn. "Cover your mirrors! The watchers are awake! Do you hear me? They're awake, and they're hungry!" People stared at her, some confused, some terrified, all uncertain whether to believe the mad pronouncements of a blind old woman or dismiss them as the ravings of someone touched by sun and age. But the fear had already taken root. It lived in their chests now, growing with each breath, feeding on uncertainty and the memory of blood. Someone would have to bury the dead. Someone would have to explain what happened. Someone would have to figure out what to do next. But in that moment, standing in the market square surrounded by corpses and the smell of death, no one knew where to even begin. The fear was spreading, and it would not be contained. Elsewhere in the world, in a place where buildings rose high and lights never truly went out, where medicine was science and superstition was something people mocked, a different kind of horror was beginning. The hospital's emergency room had seen its share of strange cases over the years: drug overdoses, violent assaults, bizarre accidents. But when the paramedics rushed in with the young man on the stretcher, even the veteran staff exchanged worried glances. He was in his mid-20s, dressed in jeans and a t-shirt, but he shivered so violently the gurney rattled beneath him. His skin had taken on a pale, almost translucent quality, and dark veins spiderwebbed beneath the surface like cracks in porcelain. His breath came in short, sharp gasps. Dr. Marcus Hale took one look at the patient and made an immediate decision. Isolation, now. Full quarantine protocols. The nurses moved quickly, efficiently, their training overriding their apprehension. Within minutes, the patient was sealed in an isolation room, monitored through a window, every vital sign tracked on screens that painted his deterioration in real time. His temperature spiked to 107 degrees Fahrenheit, high enough to cook brain tissue, high enough to kill. The nurses exchanged alarmed looks, preparing ice packs. Then, impossibly, his temperature plummeted to 92 degrees in less than a minute. His heart rate spiked, then crashed. Blood pressure swung wildly from hypertensive crisis to shock. He whispered something. Words that sounded like a name, or maybe a plea. Dr. Hale leaned closer to the intercom. "What did you say?" The patient's eyes snapped open. They were black. Not the black of dilated pupils, not the black of hemorrhage, just black, solid, glassy, reflecting nothing. Like looking into deep water at night, except worse because there was intelligence in that darkness, awareness, and malevolence. Hale jerked back from the window involuntarily, his instinctive recoil of his lizard brain screaming danger. A janitor named Miguel had been mopping near the isolation ward, curious about the commotion. He'd worked at the hospital for 15 years and prided himself on having seen everything. When you cleaned up after emergency room shifts, you developed a strong stomach and an unshakable calm. But when he peeked through the window of the isolation ward, his mop clattered to the floor. The patient's head turned slowly toward him, too slowly, with none of the normal fluid motion of a human neck. The movement was mechanical, precise, wrong. The patient's neck bent at an angle that made Miguel's own neck ache in sympathy. Those black eyes locked onto his. Miguel stumbled backward, his heart suddenly pounding in his chest. He'd never believed in evil, not real evil, not the kind that existed outside of drug addicts and criminals and people who'd made bad choices. Evil was human. Evil was explicable. But what he saw in those eyes wasn't human. He fled, leaving his mop and bucket behind, not caring if he got written up, just needing to be away from that room, away from those eyes. Dr. Hale stood in his office, phone pressed to his ear, listening to the calm, professional voice on the other end of the CDC hotline. The operator spoke in soothing tones, the voice of someone trained to handle panic, to project competence in the face of crisis. "Seal the ward," the operator said, as casually as giving directions to the nearest coffee shop. "We're dispatching a containment unit. They should arrive within 2 hours." "What is this?" Dr. Hale demanded, unable to keep the edge from his voice. "What are we dealing with?" "Unknown at this time. Please follow standard quarantine protocols and await the containment team."
Subscribe to this channel or follow this page to get notifications for more captivating episodes of Whispers of the Bound, the Vengeful Spirit of Apocalypse series.